this morning we're at Verralls, my special go-to place. I love it here. Well, here we are, Ian. How nice to see you. Thank you for agreeing to be part of our YouTube experiment.
You're very welcome, Julie. It's very nice to see you.
Yeah.
Show you around.
Absolutely. Well, here we are in your wonderful office, which is a super little cubby hole of interesting things. And I thought you could tell us about the history of Verralls.
Yeah, well, Brian Verrall, the founder of the company, started in antiques and early vehicles in Maddox Street off Portobello Road when he was working for the law courts. And it was his hobby that he started a business with his partner. Then he took it to the next level of doing the motorbikes, because that's what he was interested in, and bought a house in Beckenham, where he ran it from there, selling veterans. Then he bought the buildings in Tooting, so in the mid-70s, and slowly went from, I think, 18 to then 20 and 22, Tootingbeck Road. They needed a proper mechanic, and I'd been selling bikes to Brian. I'd restoring bikes, and he'd buy them and sell them, like them, and offer me the job. So I went, yeah, okay.
I didn't realise you'd been with him that long.
I've worked for the company longer than him.
Oh,
which is kind of weird.
Brian sadly is retired, and then now he's no longer with us.
No. So.
Gosh, I did not realise that.
No, so he passed the business over to me 23 years ago.
Just after 2000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So this is your library here. It's fantastic, isn't it? Your reference
library. The reference library. We at Tooting, we used to sell books, so people would come in and buy the latest Osprey stuff or whatever. But people have kind of forgotten how to read books, I think, now the advent of computers. But we still like to be able to reference any of the bikes that come in, or when people ask us about stuff. So to be able to just pull a book out. A chap asked about the Chase motorcycle. It was made in Penge in 1904.
I haven't heard of that one.
No, well, I had, and you can sort of pull a book out and go, well, there it is, because he was the great grand nephew of the Chase brothers, and there were pictures that he hadn't seen, but he wants to make one because it was in his family, so a replica. But you start with that and helping them out. It's he was very interesting bloke.
No, when you said Penge, I thought you meant Perry Vale, because PV.
Oh no. So well, these guys were sort of next door to Tessiers, so BAT in Penge.
The engine builders.
And bike builders. But with this stuff, a lot of this has never made it onto the internet. So there's lots of stuff where people go, it's not on the internet, it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
You go, well, actually, it does.
It's sad, really, because people think that these books, they predate the internet, and not everything is on the internet.
No. Well, this is a French book that I'd never seen before.
And when was it published?
Oh, this isn't old.
Oh, it looks like a reprint, doesn't it? Yeah, but I mean,
89.
What I'm getting at is pre-internet.
Yeah, but it's just such a cracking book. The French stuff is mad. When was
look at that cornering. Look, talk about getting your knee down. So what year is this photograph? He's getting his knee down, and this is about 1900.
That's a sort of Didion trike thing. So that would have been turn of the century.
Yeah.
But it's this guy with his pumping his head up.
Early experiments with helmets and safety. I like this shot at the bottom, but I think it's board racing.
Yeah, I think they were.
Look at that. I think it's staged. I mean, they look so composed. Would you look that composed when you were?
You look, the front wheels aren't going in the same direction.
Yeah, it's staged.
It's
a nice picture.
So, what you got on the workbench, Ian?
It's a Model 19 Norton, 1929. So it's 600 overhead valve that we've sold to a chap in Ireland.
Oh, is that what the crank pin is?
That is potentially a replacement for the big end pin. The problem with this bike, it sat with some water in the bottom of the engine, so the main bearings are very rumbly. And so part of the deal for the sale to our customer is that we strip the motor, replace the main bearings, potentially the big end if necessary, and anything else that needs doing to it, so that he gets a bike that is up and running.
Yeah.
He wants to fit a sidecar to it, and it's the perfect bike to fit a sidecar to. So, and thrash it around in Ireland. So
amazing. 20s overhead valve Norton. What a lovely thing.
No, it is a very nice thing.
Very nice.
And a bike that we sold to the last guy 15 years ago, I think.
Oh, nice.
So it comes back again. They come round. But I said to him that we sell a lot of bikes to guys who don't come and see them. So around the world, they can't afford the time or the expense of coming to see the bike. So they rely on us completely to tell them that the bike's okay. And either sell them the bike with a known fault, and that affects the price, or put all the faults right, and they get a bike that they can just get out the box and ride.
It's all down to the purchaser, really. I mean,
that's absolutely.
They might have the facilities to do the work
of course,
themselves,
and so that would reduce the price, and they can get stuck in. We would much sooner have potential customers come and see the bikes. Kick them, sniff them, and just hear them run. When the internet started, we had some Italian customers who were buying blind. And every bike they bought, they were totally disappointed with. Came out of the box and just went, They sent a mate over to look at a Panther that we were selling. And he said, I'm quite astounded that it's as nice as it is, because everything we've bought without seeing them has been a bit of a letdown. So that was nice. That was nice. But there's no point in us sending something off with a problem, because the first thing the customer's going to do is go, there's a hole in the petrol tank.
And you've been here many years. You're in it for the long run.
And reputation takes a long time.
Well, that's interesting. That oil tank, we had one of those in recently. Because Vic bought a tank for a Norton that he's doing.
Okay.
And it came with another tank, an oil tank, which is actually this tank, an oil tank.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the petrol tank was the same. There's so many variations.
Absolutely. And year specific. And model specific.
I'm sure that was the same oil tank, because I was amazed at how tiny it is, really. It doesn't, the capacity on that looks about 2 pints. Is that?
The capacity of the oil tank should be enough to outrun the capacity of the petrol tank.
So this is still total loss?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I was thinking, because it's a separate oil tank, I associate having, in the older bikes, you've got a split fuel tank. One side is oil, one side is petrol. And I associate those with total loss. But a separate oil tank, I associate with having an oil pump. So
not quite modern enough. So the first saddle tanks, it was exactly the same, apart from a frame design, as the flat tank. So this was the great step forward in saddle tanks. But the engine remained exactly the same. Mechanical oil pump dribbling it in and then blowing it out the breather.
Don't mention that. No, it's interesting to see how development works, because it just happens in steps. It happens incrementally. It's not, we've got an oil pump and now we're going to have a saddle tank.
Yeah, I suppose with a flat tank bike, with your oil and petrol compartments, that was the accepted rule.
Absolutely. But you have saddle tanks with separate oil.
Absolutely. But I think perhaps it was when they wanted further distances, the range of the bike increased, because a lot of the flat tank bikes are limited by the amount of fuel you can carry.
Very much
so once they got a more practical bike to do practical distances, you need a bigger fuel tank. So you've got to have a separate oil tank.
Because to be honest with you, a lot of these veterans, the range is about 50-60 miles.
I've run out of petrol on the Pioneer run.
Yeah, absolutely, which is about 60 miles.
Yeah.